All right, so today we're going to tackle the thermostat delete on the 2021 RL and also on the 2019 L. It's 20 degrees outside today, so we'll be trying to get the heater going and see if we can get these things tore apart and get the thermostat delete on. The RL is already halfway apart due to the fact that we removed the forks and the shock, which was quite an ordeal. So not too much more to do on it. Got to take the gas tank off, then we can get right to taking everything apart for the thermostat delete. And on the L, we'll have to take everything off of it, get the seat off, the muffler, the tank, and get down to it. The first issue is we have to get the skid plate off of the RL. I think we'll just have Jake pick it up, and then I'll take it off while he's holding it. Here's our instruction set. We're using the San Diego Power Sports kit, and we're also using the Champion Adventures video. Okay, so we got the tank off. It's in the floor right there. Basically for the tank, it's just these bolts right here. Then you have to take a couple of connections loose. This one and this one. Just these two connections here. The tank comes off. And just loosen the coolant screw and drain the coolant out. And now we're going to retorque the coolant drain bolt. Okay, next we've disconnected this hose and this hose. These two hoses disconnected, and capped this one off with the rubber piece, and next we'll cap this one off with a brass piece that came with the kit. This piece right here. So this is what it looks like with the SAS line and oil catch tank breather hoses off of the airbox. You can see the rubber covering there, and the brass one down here. So the two hoses are off and the airbox holes are plugged. We actually heated up the rubber boot to get it to go over the airbox cover. Okay, next we've removed these three radiator hoses. Just loosened them all up. Used a pair of pliers and a small flathead screwdriver to get them started. They're all off now. Now we removed the coolant temperature sensor. Disconnected this relay plug, and we'll plug this because it won't be used again. Okay, now we have this relay plugged. Later this will all be unused, so we'll secure it somewhere. We have this bracket loose here. I'm getting ready to remove this hose and we'll have all this freed up. Okay, now I have this piece removed and it will not go back on. Okay, now removing the thermostat. Okay, here we've removed the OEM thermostat and put in thermostat delete onto the head, keeping this intact. I've removed this three-way piece from the water pump. Came off of here and plugged one of the ports, and now I'll be putting it back on and attaching these two hoses back to it. We now have the water pump cover back on. You can see it has the plug, and we just reconnected the other two hoses. So that's what it'll look like. And there's the thermostat delete, reinstalled and reconnected. Got the cover over the port that's not being used anymore. So now we have taken the valve cover vent line and pulled it off of this, pulled it off of that, and installed this extension tube on it. So next we're going to remove this charcoal canister. We've removed the chain cover on the front sprocket, and next we'll be removing all of this. So we've removed the air pulse line from the intake right here, and in its place we will put this. This will go right in there to plug the hole. And we're getting close to getting the charcoal canister out. Took off the motor mount so we could have access to this area. Important to torque this back on, 21 foot-pounds and 40 foot-pounds. Getting closer. Okay, pulling the charcoal canister out. This right here is the brake switch was on that. And you can see right there's the brake switch. I just had to slide it off of this and pull this tube right here. Was up right on that breather tube, but yeah, that's the charcoal canister. It's out. Okay, now I'm going to remove this bracket from the charcoal canister and reuse it back down on the frame so we can have something to connect our brake switch to. So just pull it out of these rubber tabs. Okay, the bracket is back on and the brake switch is mounted back onto the bracket. So now the charcoal canister is gone, all of the hoses that go with it, but we've kept the bottom piece of the bracket to mount the brake switch. Trying to see it there. Okay, next we're going to remove this oil overflow tank. I think it's just got one bolt holding it on. So here's the tank as it's just come out. Just had the one 10 mil bolt right there, and then it just slid right out. The other hose was already disconnected. It's got some sludge in it. That'll be going in the trash pile. Getting quite a trash pile here so far. That's what's come out of it so far. Pretty close to done. Okay, we've got the motor mount back on. Got these electrical wires zip tied back together. Brake switch is on. Got this other switch zip tied to the brake switch line. I've got everything out, everything installed. See how much it opened up around the engine and frame. Big difference. You really see that from over here too. And the only thing left to do now is put the tank back on, put it all back together, fill it up with coolant, see how she runs.